Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Live Team Alliance training session for Thursday, September 3rd. Time right now is approximately 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before we get started with tonight's training, as usual, I would like to welcome our new students, those of you who are joining us in training for the first time. Whether you're in attendance with us live tonight or you're watching the replay of this, you've definitely made the wisest decision of your lifetime, in my opinion, for training here with us and learning this skill set. This will prove to be something that is going to be life-changing for you. I would suggest that you plug in, that you commit and dedicate your time to the training process. Do not try to change any part of what you're learning, and follow instructions. If you do that, it's only a matter of time before you acquire this skill set and then put yourself in position to elevate, meaning that it just continues to improve and get better and better and better. And ultimately what that means is that you'll put yourself in a position where you'll be able to trade, and every time that you do, you'll win. The value of that is really unmatched by anything, because being able to be profitable specifically on this platform and just in this industry of trading is something that very few people can do consistently. And therein lies the problem that most people are dealing with. They're trading, but they're not consistent at all. Some people are less consistent than others. Some people, they don't lose as much as others, whatever the case may be. Bottom line is that you need to ultimately get to a place where you're not losing. In other words, you're winning every time that you're in the market, and you understand why. So aside from the fact that you are training to be conditioned within your mindset to execute the process that you're learning, you're ultimately learning the process and learning when to apply the process in the market, and developing the patience that comes along with knowing when to wait until the market presents what you're waiting for. So ultimately what we do is wait. We have to wait for the market to ultimately position itself properly in order for a profitable trade to come. Now, that's the framework. That's the process that we use. That is what we call the protocol. Every component of training that we do is part of the protocol. It's not separated from it. So in other words, the mindset that you need, that's part of the protocol. The habits that you need to create. 301 on repeat, for example. Recording. These are habits that you're going to have to create, because they are what is a part of the conditioning that's going to happen in order for you to elevate to the point that I'm referring to, where you're going to win all your trades. You're going to know why. You're going to avoid losing any trades at all, because you're going to understand why. Why you're not doing anything in the market. It's a very simple thing to understand once you do finally comprehend. The market is either presenting the right behavior and environment, or it's not. You need to know what the differences are, and you need to know how one looks versus the other. Now, when the market is not presenting what we're waiting for, it looks a number of different ways. Some of the ways are just totally obvious and ridiculous. Like when you're looking at the market and it's just all over the place. Wicks on the candles and back and forth movement, just totally ridiculousness. That's easy to see. But to spot the nuances of the market, where the timing of the bad behavior is hidden, it's hidden. It doesn't come right away. It comes after the fact. to know what that looks like and to know that that's still not it. This is a part of the skill set that you're developing here. Learning how to interpret the market to know when the market is moving fluidly. This is what we call stability. When the market's stable, that's when the market is going to give you money. Now, what I'm going to teach you through the training process is how to only wait for the market to give you money. In other words, you're going to wait for the right environment and behavior, which represents the right timing. And then you're going to wait for the trade to come at that time. And guess what happens if no trade comes? You don't do anything. That's the discipline that comes along with this. So understanding that there are things that are happening in order, and if one part of what we need to take place does not happen, nothing happens. So it's literally all or nothing. Either the market presents it to us or it doesn't in totality, and you need to know and understand what it all looks like so that you know when it all is here. Make sense? All right, so for those of you who are new, there are 3 training videos. Beginning with training number 336. The second one is 396. Last one is 301. In that order. Once you get to 301, once you get to 301, you need to have that training on repeat every day. That's part of the habit forming that you need to do right away. Don't slack on that. You need to watch 301 every day. You need to watch 301 every day. Before you start watching the market, you need to watch 301. Ultimately, as you begin to allow 301 to sink into you, everything that we go over on live training begins to make that much more sense. And this is what you want. You want continuous elevation in perpetuity. The repetition of the training is how light bulbs come on. In other words, you just one day realize, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that before. Or you'll listen to 301 and you hear something for the first time that you never heard before. And it just is a moment. It's like, wow. It's just like a big light bulb just turned on, and now you just suddenly understand something that you didn't understand right away. And this keeps going on. So it doesn't just happen 1 or 2 times. It happens forever. I'm more than 4,000 views in on 301 since I did the training, which was last year in March. More than 4,000 views. And every time that I watch the training, which is every day, I watch the training every day no less than 7 times. No less than. So I do that intentionally, like I said, because part of this is also repetition that you have to do to keep yourself under the guidance of what it is that we know that we're waiting for. So that's what I call conditioning. The way that you condition yourself is through repetition. Same way when you're working out, you got to do reps, right? You do reps of 10 or 20 or however many of the exercise. The repetition is how you build. So it's no different for our acquisition of knowledge and skill. That comes through repetition. That's why that is so important. All right, so we definitely do not want to slack on that at all. We want to repeat. That's what you got to do every day. All right, so throughout the training, if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask whatever your questions are. I'm going to be doing some very good exams tonight. I'm going to ask you some real good questions. And, of course, we'll be doing some exercises as well. All right, so did Chris make it? Who was that? Chris? Yeah, that was Chris. Okay, so Chris is here, right? All right. I think he's in here. Thought I saw him a minute ago. And I'm talking about Chris M. Chris Perazzo, I see you too. All right, cool. All right, Jamal, I will. I'm going to read it. Let me see something. Jamal sent me this a little while ago, and it's very interesting because someone sent this to him. Let me just read this and just tell me if this sounds familiar. This gentleman says the secret to his and all success. He says you can give someone the perfect strategy, but if they don't have the right mindset, they cannot succeed. This is hilarious to me. He says, yet someone with the right mindset can actually take a bad strategy and create success with it. He says 80% of all success is mindset, and most entrepreneurs don't understand mindset and are addicted to strategies. In conclusion, he says, we are all chasing success, thinking it will make us happy, instead of realizing that if we can learn to be happy, success chases us. All right, we need a Don DeMarco for that. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it does. David Jr. is asking, how can MRMH be different for some than others? MRMH is not different for some. MRMH is what it is. Whether you recognize it is different for some versus others. That is the difference. And as you elevate in your understanding, as you elevate in your ability to recognize stability, you will elevate and you'll see MRMH when it appears, even when others may not. There are many times where I'm seeing MRMH and you see it. There are various times where I'll see MRMH and no one else saw it. Does that mean that I'm seeing different MRMHs? No. What it means is that I'm at an elevated point in my career, in my trading, and whatever you want to call it. I'm at an elevated position where I'm able to recognize it on various levels because I understand the dynamic of what we're doing. Now, this is going to be a very good training tonight because I'm going to ask you guys some questions that will help you to open up your ability to see MRMH with more consistency on your own. Okay? And here are the questions I'm going to ask. First question is this. Is the foundation of MRMH based on the validity of a setup, or is it based on the stability of the market? That's the first question. Is the foundation based on the validity of the setup or the stability of the market? That's the question. And I see everyone is saying the stability of the market. The whole purpose of MRMH is to give you permission to take a valid trade when it sets up. Why is MRMH giving you permission to take a valid trade when it sets up? This is after you have MRMH. Why is MRMH the permission? What about MRMH is giving you permission? That's the next question. David Jr. is saying it's letting you know the overall behavior of the market, which is what? Look at what Carrie says. It's the golden standard for a stable market. Does that make sense to everyone? So MRMH, in essence, is giving you permission to take a valid trade when you see it. Why? Why is it giving you permission to take a valid trade when it comes? Like, tell me that. Why is it okay to take a valid trade when you see it? Tell me. And this is why tonight is going to be a very good training. And y'all give me 1 second. Let me send this to Denise. Okay, she's good now. David said because it already happened. What already happened? Everyone is saying stability. Nico says it's letting you know the time is right for the market to give you a trade. Bingo. Carrie says before MRMH you're at risk for a coin flip. Aha. Aha. Let's zoom into that. Listen to what Carrie just said. Before MRMH, you're at risk for coin flip. So if we know MRMH at its foundation and at its core is based on stability in the market, then what you're really waiting for is the market to give you permission to take a valid setup when it comes through the market presenting stability. Does that make sense? So what I'm doing with this training tonight is I'm helping you to understand and to elevate and transcend into the next level of your actual skill. And what I mean by that is the market, in essence, is either stable when you're watching it or it's not stable. And this is why when you watch it is important. When do we zoom into the market? At what point in the binary? The last minute. Why is that so important? What is it about the last minute? Look at what David says. That's when the decision is made. Y'all are following me. So understand, yes, exactly, Kimmy. That's when the winner is determined. There you go. So understand that what we're really doing is isolating stability in the last minute of a binary. Now, the easiest way to do this is by seeing overall stability in the market. Now, there are times when there may not be overall stability yet. The market could be transitioning into overall stability. But during the process of the transition, the market presents stability during the last minute of a binary. You're following me? You're with me, right? Did y'all hear what I just said? There are times when the market is transitioning into stability, and as it's doing that, it presents stability during the last minute of one of the binaries, and you see it. This is how you can have an MRMH, and then on subsequent binaries, the market doesn't look stable anymore. It goes into a different environment, goes into jerky behavior or whatever it does. And then it'll seem as if the market gave you like a needle in a haystack, so to speak. So this is one of the things that we deal with, yes. But it's your ability to know what stability looks like in the first place that is always going to allow you to see not just MRMH, but it's going to allow you to see a trade unfold when the market is stable, period. You understand that? Negro saying, just like we validate each phase to get to MRMH. MRMH validates the market being in the mode to give us a trade. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what MRMH represents is the totality of everything. It's a valid trade or valid setup while the market's stable. That's what it is. So all of the pieces of that are necessary is what you're being conditioned to recognize. And that is why MRMH is so important. It forces you to wait for the market to stabilize. You ever notice that when we're looking at the market, of course, your eyes are going to gravitate to looking at the parameters while you're watching, because parameters are part of the process. But what do I tell you I'm looking at anytime I'm observing the market? What's the first thing I say? First thing, the indicative. I'm looking at the market. So this is what I want you guys to understand that we're focusing on. We're focusing on the market. The parameters either unfolding or being in question or whatever the case may be is less important than if stability is not there. In other words, I don't care how great the parameters looked. If the market's not stable, it means nothing. Because it's not time for a trade. This is why you'll see me dismiss when someone might bring up, oh, that was valid and the parameters were good. Because if I see that the market is not behaving the way that it should, I'm letting go of the whole thing. And what you guys have seen me do is I flip that. The same way I let go of a binary and disregard it, even if the parameters were good, but because behavior wasn't there, I ignore it. I'll say, nope, next. The same way I'll do that is the same way that if I see the parameters and there's one part of it that might be in question, I will still say that it's MRMH. Why? Why am I doing that? And it's not that it's not MRMH. It's that there's a part of it that's in question. And of course, I'm going to use my experience to give insight into whatever's in question. And what I'm referring to is mainly option pricing. That's always the question. Oh, well, I didn't see pricing on it. And guess what? If the market's stable, I'm not going to say I don't care about pricing, but I will say this. Once I know the market is stable and I see the parameters unfold, I'm pulling the trigger. In my head and then in real life. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because of the confidence that I have in the market having the right time. Or I should say the market being in the right time. It's in the right timing. So understand this. Your confidence is in the market's timing, not in the trade. Let me say that again. Your confidence needs to be in the market's timing. Stability, not in the trade. Don't worry about the trade so much. Don't worry about the trade so much. Stability is the key. Range, that's the key. If you know that you're in a range and the market is staying within the range, it's stable in the range. There are times when the market's not in the range and is moving outside of what we would consider the market to be as far as a range goes, but the market's still stable. Now, I don't force you guys to see that, and I don't even talk about it. Is that something that happens? Hell yeah. It happens all the time. And the same way that that is a scenario of stability, the reason that I'm using the range is so that you don't have to be subjective when you see that. But there's some of you that will see it and you recognize it just the way that I do. And we don't have to discuss it. Does that make sense? Listen to this. Some of you are going to elevate and we don't have to have a conversation about it. You'll just do it. You'll just know. We don't got to talk about nothing. You know that the market is stable, and that's it. Just like there's an acronym that we use called SPP. Tell me what that means. Y'all remember what that means? SPP. Come on, David. Stability, position, and pricing. There it is. This was before you, Carrie. It's all right though. Dwayne is on it. Jeffrey's on it. Very good. Very good, y'all. Listen to that. What's the first thing? Stability. What's the next thing? Position. Is this making sense? Y'all have heard me say time and time again, I'm looking at the indicative. As soon as I see the +1, I'm clicking in. Why am I saying that? What I'm really telling you is that I don't even look at the option pricing. When I'm taking a trade, I look at option pricing after. Because I'm looking at the indicative and I'm ready to click. When I know that the market is stable, I'm in the trade. Or I may not be in the trade. There's a possibility that I might not get filled. That's a possibility. There's also a possibility that I will. Do I concern myself with it either way? No. This is what I mean about trying to always look for the right trade, the perfect trade. We're not as concerned about the perfect trade as we are the right timing. When the timing is right, the trade will unfold. You'll see it. It might be in question because the pricing, you might look and say, but no, it was priced out. You're assuming that it's priced out. You're assuming that. If it's anywhere near our threshold price, you could be filled on the trade. And that's why I had to discuss that as far as using the threshold as a pivot and not curve fitting it. Like, in other words, but it was at 84, it was priced out. No. Option pricing is, they are literally showing you a percentage of the orders, not all of them. You can't see all of the orders on the platform. It wouldn't be no room. So the flashes that you're seeing of the option pricing is showing you the availability at the current moment based on the actual movement of the market itself. That's why the more stable that the market is, you'll see that the option pricing gradually makes its way to pricing out. It does it gradually. And this happens when it's in sync. And that's what listen to what Shanti just said. He said, I'm only looking at the indicative when I pull the trigger because I can't look at two things at once. I'm conditioning you guys to always recognize what you're seeing in the market itself, meaning the indicative. Don't be as concerned with option pricing. I'm not saying to disregard it. I would never say that. I am saying don't give as much emphasis to it as you do stability. It's just like how you'll see pricing for too long. How many of y'all seen that before? It's pricing, and you're like, wait, I don't like that. Because you know something's up. You got a +1. Market is in a position where you know it shouldn't be that. You should on a buy, for example. Let's talk about a buy. On a buy, should you see pricing of 70 if the market is 5 micropips away from the strike and then you get a +1? Should it still be 70 with a +1? No. So the fact that it is giving you time to wait. And during that wait period, market moves back. You're like, up, there it is. There's the fuckery. I knew it was something. You see? So now, the market gave you time to wait for that back tick. That's how option pricing helps you. Because if it's favorable when the market is in a position, and you know that in that position, the pricing should not be that, you know something's wrong. This is the beauty of the way that we observe. So understand that the same reason that we rely on the indicative to know if the market is stable or not is the same reason that we only use option pricing and other things that we're using as a tool. It's part of the process, and it comes at the end. What's the last parameter? The last parameter is option pricing. It's not the first one. It's the last one. Why? Because that's the last thing on the totem pole that you're looking at once you've recognized that the market is stable. You're also looking at that during the process of recognizing if the market is stable. That's how you know something's wrong if it's out of sync like that. You shouldn't be seeing pricing if the market is in that position. You 6 MP away from the strike and get a +1 and the option pricing is still 72. You know something is wrong. This is how beautiful that this whole process is for us. Everything that shows us that the market is not in alignment reveals itself. And what ends up happening is when the market does ultimately become stable, all it needs to do is get into position. And once it does that, it's right there. You're like, oh, there it is. That's it right there. MRMH. So again, just like I said at the beginning of this training tonight, the key to MRMH is stability. MRMH is giving us permission to take a valid setup that comes during that time. But you need to recognize that time. What is that time? Stable time. And when everything culminates together, that's when you see everything in sync, and that's how the market delivers you a trade. So understand that the only trade that we're waiting for is the one that the market delivers when it's stable. We're not waiting for a trade to appear on its own. We ain't waiting for that. It's trades all day. But the trade is not what we're waiting for. What are we waiting for? The right time. Let me come in the chat. I know y'all talking about something over here. Shawnee, that's funny. He said 70s pricing do be wetting my whistle, though. I can't front. Oh, boy. You better keep that whistle dry. You better dry it up. All right, something just happened, man. This whole, just gets on my nerves. Everything just straight be closing. What is that? All right, y'all hold on for a second. Goodness. My whole browser just closed for nothing. Chris is asking, what videos should he watch for stability and timing? What y'all think I'm going to say to that? Go ahead, Shavonda. Come on with it. Let's go. We need Don. Let me get the Don up. I gotta get the Don back up. Damn. Let's go. 301, Chris. 301. Everything I'm even talking about now is in 301. It may not seem like that, but it is. And the only reason that it doesn't seem like that is because you haven't watched 301 enough times to know that everything's in it. Everything I talk about on live training is in 301. Phase 1, phase 2. It's all in there. Shandi said, we talked earlier in the week on the live about how MRMH and the follow-through can happen in 4 binaries. Yep. So basically, the market transcends time, which means that you can't box it into time. So the question of how long is always irrelevant. Does that make sense? Everybody understand that? Well, how long does it take for the market to? That's an irrelevant question. You can't ask that. The market just does it. Or it doesn't do it. Now, the market can decide to go from a total erratic, unstable environment and condition to complete stability and do it in 3 binaries. 3 binaries is 15 minutes. Understand that. The market can do that if it wants to. The market could also take all day to do it. Who are we to determine when the market's going to do it? This is why all of our tools are so powerful, because we don't have to sit around waiting for it. Right? You don't got to sit around all day waiting for it. You got the quick glance. It's very easy to do. Quick glance, you quickly look and see, is the market stable? Yep. All right, what's the next thing you look for? What's after stability? Position. All right, cool. Doing a quick glance. Market is stable now. All right. Is it in position? Nope, not yet. Next. Is it in position? Nope. Next. Is it in position? Nope. Next. Is it in position? Yep. What's at the position? Pricing. You're following me, right? This is how you see MRMH unfold like this. Stability, position, and pricing. It is the equivalent of phases 1, 2, and 3 combined. Phases 1 and 2 is stability. Position and pricing is built into the parameters automatically. So am I saying different things or am I saying the same thing? Is SPP in 301? I'm going to let y'all answer that. Is SPP in 301? Bam. There you go. Oh, I'm not sure. Wait, is this thing sharing? Oh, my bad. I thought it was back up. I apologize. I'm over here just talking. Yes, look at what J. Carr just said. We've been hearing the same thing since 2017. This is all facts. It's been elevating, and this is why I want you guys to do what I'm doing, no less, no less. Don't try to learn more. Learn what's being taught and leave it at that. No less. Quick glance. That's knowing less. Oh, well, my analysis leads me to believe. No. Quick glance, and I'm out. I had to put my daughter's bed together. I did it and I was doing the quick glance at the same time. Come on, man. Quick glance. So I talk about these things because I want you to understand that you don't have to wreck your brain trying to look at the market and figure this out, figure that out. You ain't got nothing to figure out. SPP. When you do the quick glance, you look. Is the market stable? Yep. All right. Is it in position? Nope. Next. Next binary comes. Is it in position? No. Next. Next binary comes. Is it in position? Yep. Is there pricing? Nope. Next. Bill said it's the bed stable. Yes, it is, Bill. Yes, it is. I had power tools. I made sure. I know, right? J. Cardi said my business. Yo, y'all are horrible, man. You're like, yo, Mark don't do no manual labor ever. Oh, snap. Wow. That is funny. Yep, I did that and I put up a picture. I'm done. Yeah, right, exactly. You said, remember the blue collar though. Yeah, I ain't trying to build nothing, but I had to do that for my little girl though. I had to. Yep, I had to do it. He said I built stuff with telekinesis. Y'all are nuts, man. Y'all are nuts. So listen. the confidence that you need to have is coming from you knowing what stability looks like in the market, because confidence in stability gives you confidence in when you see the market position itself and there's pricing. You don't question it. You know it. Like, wait, market stable, okay. In position, pricing, bang. So this leads right into knowing what stability looks like and knowing when it's not there yet. If stability ain't there yet, we don't care about position. Whoa. Listen to what I just said. If stability is not there yet, we don't care about the position. If you're seeing wicks everywhere, we don't care about the position. If the market is fast, we don't care. Come on, y'all. This is where your confidence is coming from. Yes, Bilal. You can't have a house without a foundation. That's it. That's it. Stability, position, pricing. 20-minute rule. J. Carl, elaborate on that. Matter of fact, you want to unmute? No, she gotta go get her talking voice in order. She's like, me. She's like, This is good though. Jeff says, okay, now how do you walk away after 2 trades? Because some days there's some opportunities. It's very easy, Jeff. Man, listen. Once you get your trades for the day, gone. And like, understand, like the way that I want you to really develop your confidence and your discipline is just knowing that the trade comes whenever it comes. And if you're around when it comes, that's you. It's right there. There's no need to be tempted if you logged out. Whoa. You heard what I said about if I happen to get 2 trades in a day, I'm logging out. I'm out. Like, I logged out. I don't know what's going on now. I'm done. So that right there is really not an issue at all. I think that making yourself more available through the quick glance will do it. That's more so what you want to develop more of. And I know that many of you are really on the quick glance hard. And that's the key to it. Yes, exactly, Bilal. Exactly. And understand, like listen to that. So if 2 trades is 5 figures, and if you average 1 trade a week, that's 4 trades. That's 5 figures twice. Yeah, like everything else, Sharonda. Everything is going to be a process at first, but it's very easy to do. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Matter of fact, we'll do it momentarily. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Jay Carr said, and if you're set up that you only need one trade for the week to pay all your bills, the rest is cake. Yes. Yep. Yep. Chris, Mark, what do you tell people about indicators and Bollinger Bands and yada yada yada? I laugh. I laugh, man. Yeah, the strength is the psychology and also the understanding of the market itself. Indicators don't help you understand the market. Indicators are giving you lagging information about the market, but they're not helping you understand the market itself. Jay Carly says she tells him to shut up. That too. All right, let me get it. Let me find Jay Carly.
Can you hear me?
Hello. You're kind of low.
I'm kind of low. Should I talk louder?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to, because my voice is shaky. Anyway, I forgot what I was doing. Okay. Hang on a second, because I saw comments and I'm like, no. Hi, everyone. Don't forget support and resistance. Absolutely forget support and resistance. It doesn't matter in 5 minutes. Indicators are behind what the market is doing, so again, it doesn't matter in 5 minutes. Candle patterns don't matter in 5 minutes. You can learn enough about candle patterns to be very successful, but not at the right time. You can always be right, but not at the right time. Believe me, I spent months learning candle patterns. They don't matter. Bear with me, guys. What I was saying about the 20-minute rule is that for me, in my experience, and this is how I deal with this, the market is not going to do something within 2 binaries. It's not going to do something within 3 binaries. It can do something in 4 binaries. When I look at the market, when I do a quick glance or observation, because I'm always doing other things even when I'm observing, I'll look at the end of the binary. If it's automatically not ranging, there's wicks, it's all over the place, there's big candles, I don't even bother to even look at it again for 20 minutes because it's not going to just flip on a dime from wicks and big candles and then just stop and be stable. It will never do that. Not ever. So it has to transition into stability, or it has to transition out of stability. The market always is in transition to stability or out of stability, period. If you are nervous or confused when you're looking at a binary, do nothing, because that means that your body is not confident. You don't understand what's going on, or there's movement in the market, like the option pricing could be flying around and you may not even notice it, but subconsciously it makes you nervous. I noticed very early on that when the option pricing is stable, and I call it option pricing can be stable, it doesn't move that much. And on the old platform with all the lights and stuff at the top, you know, when they would be flashing all over the place, I'd be like, nope. But then when they would start to slow down, to me, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to look at it. But that's all it really is you don't need to watch every 5 minutes. Watch every 20 minutes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It surely does.
Does that make sense to y'all?
Getting all the yeses.
Oh, you know what? It helps.
That's an excellent explanation.
You know what? I'm looking at the chat. Oh my God, I'm gonna walk off. I was looking at the chat and I'm like, why are you all not commenting? I was getting upset. It's because I didn't have it scrolled down. Fuck.
About to get tight.
I was a little upset. Like, hopefully that makes sense. I don't have enough energy to be Rantman Jr., but I have a question for the newer people and the brand new people. Y'all ready, hopefully. I'm going to put my bitch hat on for a second. Do you think that we would say over and over and over and over again to watch 301, 301, 301, 301, 301 if that wasn't what needed to be done?
Good question.
So, just watch 301. Watch it again and again and again and again. I'm here almost 3 years. I watch it 6 times a day. Yep. On the weekends, I try to bang out like 9, 10 times a day. And subconscious training, you can Google it. People do hypnosis that way. They do all kinds of stuff. You can learn whole languages if you have the right person to hypnotize you. That's basically what you're doing while you're sleeping. Because your subconscious mind is awake, your conscious mind is asleep, so there's no barrier. So all the information that you're going from your ear to your subconscious, there's nothing stopping it. When you're awake, you have your conscious mind. And it's like, hey, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then that's how we beat it with repetition when we're awake. Yep. We just beat it with repetition when we're awake, and it eases in there when we're asleep. And I don't think we've really talked about that a lot. But almost every person on Team Alliance goes to sleep with 301 either in their ear or beside them.
Yep.
I cast mine to my TV. And then I turn the screen off on my TV.
And just listen.
So.
Just playing.
And then I'll wake up and it'll be like 3:03 or 3:04 or whatever.
Yep.
So.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I really haven't talked about that as of late. I mean, but I've only not talked about it because we just do it. But
right.
Yeah.
And then I forget that new people come in, and if we don't talk about it, what did I say today that we need to talk? Oh, here come Rantman Jr. Okay, so listen. When we started, we had to train. Then we had to do 45 and 0 in demo. Not 10, not 5, 45 and 0 in demo. And if we took a L, we had to subtract 6 from the 45. Now I did it to where I had to start completely over, but I only lost my very first trade, and then I did 67 and 0, which I'd love to say. Even though it's demo, I don't care. So the new people, and for months, we haven't really even talked about paper trading. So you can do paper trading either on paper with your live account, or you can set up a demo account with a different email. And if you have the ability to put them side by side on screens, then you can execute the trade from the live account into the demo account, if that makes sense to people who don't have either yet.
Very good.
Sorry, hang on just a second. So that's all I want to say. It's really important to me that you guys don't just jump in a live account, that you don't start with $500, that you don't start with $1,000. You only need 100. You only need to train, and just train until you're comfortable. If you're not 100% comfortable, then that's what paper trading will help you get to. Because the last thing you want to do is be, I think I got it, and before you hit place order. You want to know that you have it.
Another thing that does for you is it's going to create the muscle memory too that you need, because emotionally you have a reaction when you start clicking. When you click that place order button and you feel that in your stomach, like, oh, you're going to feel that on the demo too first. So what Sharonda was just asking, that's a good question, because that's exactly what we're saying. When you ultimately open up your live account, paper trading is when you have them both up side by side, and you look at the live account information and then actually pull the trigger in the demo account. So you're basing your execution off of the information from the live account without taking the trade in the live account. Does that make sense?
So, for instance, if you have 2 monitors, or if you have 1 monitor, and you have to have a different email for the demo account, or you won't be able to open them both at the same time. It
Right.
is my solid advice to use the demo account watching the live account. So you have your mouse and your hand over to get ready on the demo account, but you have your eyes on the live account. So no matter what the demo account is doing, you still take the trade based on what it did in the live account.
Yes.
And then that eliminates the need for actually writing it down on paper. Plus you get your muscle memory for how it feels to click into the trade and the timing. And believe me, there is this weird feeling you get right before, not fear, it's just a feeling that you, oh, I can't explain it. The trade is ready, you get your +1, everything's there, you grab the mouse or whatever, the phone, whatever, right before you click it, you just know, and you're like, oh, and then you don't even worry, and you just watch it or walk away or whatever.
Right.
But all of that's very important. And hopefully my 20-minute rule will help some people who feel like they have to be glued to it every 5 minutes, or they don't have the time to do it at all. Because how do I say this? Don't do spotty quick glance. Don't look at one and then go do something else for 30 minutes and come back and look at one, and then 20 minutes later, 25 minutes later, and look at one and be like, there ain't shit there.
Yep.
Don't do that. Do it in 4 20-minute increments.
You can miss everything in that 20 minutes that you stepped away for.
And I guarantee if the market is going to be stable, you'll see it in that first one. And then you'll see something in the second, the third, and the fourth one. And that's what Mark was saying, how you can have MRMH and a follow-through within 4 trades or 4 binaries.
Yes. Yes.
And that's OG shit. And that was probably Shawnee that said that. And yeah,
you know that was
got
Shawnee.
it. Yeah, new people got it easy. That's why I will never stop saying that to y'all. Y'all got it easy. You have no idea what we went through.
For real, I used to be having everybody go through the ringer. For real.
We had to unmute all the time. I ain't heard none of y'all. One of y'all, maybe. I had to listen, and I've said this 100 times if you watch anything else, but for newer people, I had to unmute every day for like the first 6 months. All the trainings from number 17 for the 6 months has me on it, all of them.
Yep.
I'm not kidding. So maybe unmute season should come upon us.
I know, it could happen. It could happen.
Probably. But that's all I had. Hopefully that clears up the 20-minute rule and the paper trading.
Yes, very good.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to mute now. You're so welcome. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, excellent. We always need some Jay Carley. Shadi said because you was hard-headed. Oh, that is funny. Yep. Yeah, everybody used to be real hard-headed back in the day. Unbelievable. Kimmy, not necessarily. You don't have to wait until the top of the hour. You can just start observing whenever you are ready to start observing. Yep. Sharonda, yes. Makes sense because the demo is different. Exactly. Very good. Yep. Very good. That's why you can't rely on the demo information. Very good observation. Yep, you guys are pretty bright, I must say. Walker says, since I've adjusted my quick glance, what you said? Since I've adjusted my quick glance, I look at more binaries, but for way less time. Do y'all quick glance and then watch the ending? That's a good question, Walker. In general, I don't necessarily watch the ending if I know that it ain't in position, but I'm doing that after I've already established that the market's stable. Does that make sense? So, like, if I'm doing a quick glance and I see that the market's not stable, I'm just nexting. It's just next. Once I see the market is stable, if it's not in position, it's next. Make sense? So, like, the quick glance is really the quick glance for real, because it don't take a long look to make the determination as to whether the market is stable, for one, and then once it is stable, it don't take long to recognize if it's in position. You see it or don't see it, right? Exactly. Look at what David just said. There's no need to watch further if it's not stable. Boom. There you go. Yep. Right. Look what Walker just said. Quick glance, not double take. Exactly. Exactly. Jeff, if you don't get filled on one, do you count that into your 2-a-day rule? Yes. Yep. Yeah, matter of fact, you saw one of the trades for the project I did that with. Or I should say one of the days. I took 2 trades and that was it. Yeah, I remember that day. I think it was day 18. Yeah, a few days ago. Ashton, why is the demo different from the live account? Demo is just it's a practice account, so the feed is not accounting for everything that the live account is accounting for. The live environment is accounting for actual trades on the platform, not practice trades. So it's like the demo is like a mock version of the live account, but it's not showing actual live information. The live account is based on what people are actually doing. David, visually quick glance and then quick glance can be great also. Yes. And now if you're on the computer, on the laptop or whatever, you're doing it both because the chart don't go away when you open it. Like if you're looking at it like this, you see them both anyway. But when I'm on the phone, I don't see the chart. So I'm just doing it just based on, the binary ladder. So yes, correct. Yeah, so Sharonda, just so that you know, you can open up your live account and not put any money in it yet. And I recommend that you do that. You don't have to fund it. I think that they keep sending you like messages to tell you or to remind you to fund it, but you don't have to fund it yet. You can just have it open so that you can get the live account information and have them up side by side to do your paper trading when you're ready to do that. And yes, exactly, David. Right, the small candles. Boom. Yep. Yep, that is that. So, like, just using this scenario right now And matter of fact, let me go back because there was an MRMH when Jay Carley was talking. This is MRMH right here. Now I know that this is not the smallest range. The movement that was present extended the range on this. But tell me, why am I saying that this is MRMH? Tell me why. Y'all tell me that. Why am I saying that that's MRMH? Right, and how? How did that move hold? Shavonda is funny with it. Shavonda, let me help you a little bit. We saying pips with a P, like Gladys Knight and the Pips, P-I-P-S. Every time I see you type that, I'll be like, I want a peach. I was like, yo, I could go for a peach right now. A peach with a pit in it. Yeah, so it's Michael Pip. Like Gladys Knight and the Pips. She said, yeah, I misspelled Pip. Uh-huh. Recorded the 1130, there was a speed burst on it. On the MRMH towards the very end. And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yep, that is fair enough. After the price out? Okay. Yeah, that's probably what actually extended the movement. Oh, excuse me. And basically, what I want you to see something else too. Now you had this. I want you to see what happened before this and then what happened after. Look at the movement that led up to this right here, like just overall. And I'm just pointing some things out. Like you see how this is. You can see how it's transitioning. Right? Range moves into a new position up here. Range is here, moves into another position here. Question becomes, is it stable during all of this? That's what the question is. So the way ranges help you to recognize that the market is stabilizing is by creating tight ranges, for one. And when it moves into a new position, when it goes into the new position, the way that the movement takes place in the new position. Just like when it came up here, if you look at this movement, look at how the candle is. It's pretty squared off, right? This one, not a lot of movement at all. It's ranging here. Then it moves to another position, squared off. This is the movement that I saw. This was in position relative to this line. This is squared off. It did have a speed burst in it, yes, but overall, what's the market doing? Overall, you already know what it's doing. It's either transitioning into stability or it's stable, period. So, again, then you come here, more ranging. Look at the move. Squared off, squared off. Squared off, squared off, squared off. Tight, squared off. Tight. Squared off. What is all of this saying? Overall, what's the market showing us? Stability. Don't try to make everything perfect in your head. It's the way that the price is moving that represents stability. The less and less of jerk, wobble, speed burst, the less of that you see. What dominates the movement is stability. If it's not totally stable, it's transitioning into it, or it could be transitioning out of it. What you see will determine which one. It's just like if you see one in here, you see how this one has a wick on it, but then look at what it starts doing again. It's squaring off again and it's tight. So what is this saying to us? Market is still stable overall. It could have been transitioning out of stability here, but it's not. It's still stable. Now, it ain't in position, but what if it moves in position? Let me just give you a scenario. What if this moves into position under this line when we get closer to the 130 mark? Right now, the market is stable. If it moves in position and sets up, what you think I'm doing? That's the psychology. We're looking at the overall market to see if it's stable. Don't try to curve fit the stability in the market like it's a trade. Don't do that. Is the market ranging? Yes. All right, is the movement in the range holding? Yeah, it is. Look at how many candles you have right here. How many of them got a wick on it? Just this one. These little tiny ones on the top, they're not even real moves. They're not even full micro pips. This is just what's happening on the chart. But if you look at the indicative, I guarantee you that the indicative didn't even move. This is candle movement on the chart. This is micro pip movement. This ain't, that ain't, and that ain't. Just like this move just now. You saw I came from up here and it bursted down here. Now I'm still watching this. I'm still monitoring the market. That was a speed burst. I recognize that. I don't like that. But I'm going to continue to watch. Remember, it could do what it did here. This is one candle. This was one candle. This is 3 candles. 3 stable candles. Still watching and monitoring the movement. How's it moving? It's still actually moving stable. You see what I'm saying? This is how you look at the market. Now mind you, I'm just observing. It's not that I'm doing anything. I'm just looking. I'm just watching. That's it. It's still tight. 7-1 to 7-3. It's still tight. Quick glance. So here's a quick glance right here. It's tight. Started at 2. It's at 3. It's very tight because you're only 3 micropips above the strike. This is another sign that the market is stable. You don't have distance that we need away from the strike, but it's already priced out. So you know that the market is stable. You already know that. The market is giving you all of the information to let you know that the market is stable. And you're just waiting for the market to position itself and provide you with the pricing. That's it. It's stable now. If it positions itself and provides pricing, that'll be the MRMH. That'll be the follow through. You see, if this set up, would you be scared to take the trade? No. Why? Because the market is stable. You're not looking at this like, oh, well, but I'm not sure because I'm not sure about this setup. It's less about the setup when the market is stable. It's more about stability. Look at what the price is doing. The price is it's in a range. It's staying in the range. Look. It's staying there. So I'm just giving you examples of what I mean when I'm talking about the market being stable. I'm not looking for a trade. Right now I recognize that the market's stable. I'm just going to wait. And if a trade appears, I'll see it. It'll position and it'll have pricing. That's it. Parameters will unfold. I'll see +1, everything I need, and I'm ready. And I'm not scared. Why am I not scared? Because the market's stable. That's why I'm not scared. I'm just waiting. Now, what happens if the market doesn't do it? So what? Go to bed. Start over tomorrow. That's it. And this is how we rinse and repeat the process. So, you know, this will be helpful because it's helping you to understand the dynamic of stability in the market. It's the way that the price moves. Don't try to, in your head, make that perfect. Like, oh, well, no, it wasn't perfect. Well, look at the overall picture. Market is slow. It's ranging. It's tight. It's staying in the tightness that it's in. So that means all it needs to do is position itself properly, and that's going to be our trade. And that trade is going to hold and is going to win. Why? Because it positioned itself while the market was stable. See, if the market was still in a heavy transition period, you wouldn't see this much stability. You would see a lot more back and forth. But now that the market is stable, when it attempts to transition, it'll do something. It might do a speed burst. It might do a reversal. If it doesn't continue to do that type of movement, it'll go right back into the stable environment that it's in. That's what it's been doing. That's why you're only seeing 1 or 2 candles where it looked like this. This was one here. This was one here. Now you're seeing more movement. So this could be speed coming into the market. That's cool. The market is supposed to transition. It transitions in and out. And in each instance, you know what it all looks like. See, what happens is when the market is stable, when it speeds up like this, guess what happens with the speed? When the market is really stable, the speed holds too. I ain't even going to do all of that, but I'm just saying. The market will speed up, and it'll still be holding at the end of the moves. This is what happens when it be stable already. I remember back in the day when I used to take trades with big candles, and people were confused. They're like, wait, you trading in speed. I'm trading in stability. I was able to move throughout different environments because I know what stability looks like, no matter if the market is fast or slow. But again, we ain't going to do all of that. We're going to focus on the market just being slow. Because when it gets slow and it tightens up, the way that we've been seeing it, this is how it positions itself and just gives it up without you having to do anything else. You don't have to be subjective. You don't got to figure nothing out. You don't got to wonder. There's nothing that you're doing. You're not trying to play different speeds in the market. Just stay in your lane. Slow. That's what we're doing. That's it. So, and again, like I said, no less. No less. I like that. Bilal said, the more light bulbs I get, the more my fear diminishes. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, this is good stuff. Shiny said, we getting a PhD in recognizing behavior, fortified daily. Come on, man. And you know, for some of you, you'll ask questions, and I won't answer the questions. And I'm doing that on purpose. Certain questions don't have to be answered. If that makes sense. As you grow and you learn and you elevate, you start to know. You're only asking because you are seeing it. That's why you're asking the question. But the truth is, you know the answer already. You answered the question before you asked it. That's it. It's in the training, man. And listen, everything I'm doing is in 301. This is not new. None of what I'm talking about right now is new. This is in 301, all of it. That's why we repeat it. 301 on repeat. Stability, position, pricing. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Parameters, when they confirm. That's part of it. But the key to parameters is the right time. We ain't applying parameters all day. We applying the protocol all day. All right, y'all. This was excellent. We hung out till midnight tonight. It's a new day, literally. Oh, we need Don DeMarco for that. Hold on. Don DeMarco for that. Damn, what happened to my Don DeMarco? Oh, here it is. All right, y'all. This will be available in a half hour. I'll see y'all in the group chat. And we'll be back on training on Sunday night. No training tomorrow because it's Friday. Market closes at 4 o'clock. Love, peace, and soul. Deuces.